Watch Scotland, and I'm joined by some of my team from Neighbourhood Watch Scotland. But more importantly, I think the stars of the show are our colleagues from Police Scotland, who are going to give us a presentation in keeping with Cyber Week. And I'm sure that you'll appreciate some of the information that will be impacted and imparted tonight. The questions, we're going to put the chat bar up, and colleagues from Police Scotland will endeavour to answer any questions or comments. And if by any chance we don't manage to answer all questions, what we have agreed to do is that we will scoop up the questions, get the appropriate answers after the event, and make sure they come out to you in a PDF or by some format. So no question will remain unanswered, and that's our pledge tonight, we think. So without further ado, can I introduce Andy Law, who's going to take us through this presentation from the Cybercrime Harm Prevention team. Andy, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leslie, and a very good evening, everyone. My name's Andy Law. I'm a police officer with Police Scotland. I've been a police officer for a total of 21 years now, and I've always had an interest in cyber ever since I got my first computer at 10 years old, which was an awful long time ago. I'm quite passionate about the subject, and today I'm going to give you sort of my top 10 tips for being safe online. So I'm part of the Cybercrime Harm Prevention team, and my colleague Kasia Ovcharek is sitting in the background, and she'll be answering the chat as we go along. So I like to call this a cyber spring clean. Certainly today we had every type of weather, not just spring, but I think we had winter as well. So this is really all about maybe what we should be doing and considering with our cyber posture. So how many of us actually think about what our digital footprint is like and how long we've had it? And do we ever actually update things? So the first thing I want to talk about is our emails. Many of us have had the same email for 10, 15, 20 years, and it's always worked. But why do we always go back to the one email? I have a total of 7 email accounts in my personal life, and you might wonder why I have so many, but it's quite simple. Email is our passport online. Whenever we're signing up to any applications, shopping, banking, we all introduce ourselves through our email to the organisation. So if we have the same email for everything, if ever that email's compromised, then everything online is compromised. So what I actually did was, for my banking, I created a brand new email account for my banking, and I sent it off to get my online banking and my direct banking, and set it up through online through my current bank. I haven't used that email account for anything else. Why? Because of cookies. Cookies always try to trace what you're doing, where you're going. Secondly, the bank can only contact me through that one individual account. If any other information comes through that email account, it's either from the bank or I know that there's been a compromise somewhere. That way I can always keep checking that I'm safe with my online banking. Now, why did I do that? Simply because I almost got caught out once. I received a text message from the bank, which was not unusual. It came in the same format as the bank's text messages, but when I actually examined it and examined the header, I could see that it wasn't from the bank. And I just thought, well, it's time to make a wee change. Since I've done that, I've received no other emails into that account, and it's secure. And the second thing was the email account that I was using at the time, I had set up almost 20 years ago. And technology has moved on so much in 20 years that actually that email account was out of date. Security on it was out of date. The ability to protect yourself with that account was out of date. It was actually one that people in the west of Scotland may remember, Telewest, a company from a long time ago. And it was one of their accounts. Unfortunately, all of the details and the passwords, etc., for that account were saved in plain text. So it wasn't secure. So I changed it. And I done some investigations, and I ended up going with a company called Proton Mail, based in Switzerland, provides end-to-end encryption. I know that my banking now is safe. That's up to date. That's a current email account. It's got all the protection that I need. So then I thought about everything else that I use. So what kind of things did I use my email accounts for? So I decided now I was going to change it up. So in my personal life, social media accounts such as Facebook, MySpace, Twitter or X as it's called now, and various other things that I'm communicating with my family and friends. I created a new email account for that. That doesn't tie into the bank email account whatsoever, even although I've got them saved on my phone and on my devices. The next one I thought about was shopping online, Amazon, eBay. There's so many online shopping sites. And I thought, do I really want to be using the same email account shopping that I'm using for my bank? There's too much crossover there. So then I decided I'll get a separate email account that I would use for all my commerce, all my shopping. Another one I created then was one for my professional life, for my LinkedIn account, for using when I'm talking to people. And I talk to several types of organisations. The latest one is the new women's footballers who are getting more and more media coverage. And it's really about separating your business life from your personal life. And if you do that and you start it with your email account, it will make such a difference. Secondly, if you imagine that your email account was compromised, every single thing here would be compromised. By segregating it into separate different areas, it makes it a lot easier. As I say, I've got all of these accounts on my phone on the one email server, and it's just noted up as banking, shopping, social media, business, and it just makes it a lot easier. So please think about how long you've had your email account for. Is it a current one? Does it have security features on it? Are the passwords saved properly? Are they encrypted? I just ask the question and think about, the cross-contamination that could be between your email account that you use for online banking and the email account that you're using for online shopping. If it's the same one, there's a lot of interaction there and it just makes it slightly vulnerable. So just think about that. I know that it can be daunting changing from what you already know, but all of the tips that I'm going through here are very, very easy to be set up. Now, if you have any difficulty in doing it, just get in contact and we'll be able to talk you through how you would go about this. But these are very, very simple tasks that will make you more secure online. So the next one is all about passwords. Passwords are the key to everything, and it's one of the things that we use to protect ourselves online. It's quite simple. A lot of passwords are easily guessed. People use pets' names or football teams or recognised dates a lot of the time as a passwords. And if you actually look at people and Google them online to see what they're like and what their interests are, a lot of the times you can actually guess what their password may be. So what we recommend and what the National Cyber Security Centre recommends is thinking about 3 random words that would be easy to remember, that you could remember. And we've got there apple, fish, pen. That's actually quite a good password, because a dictionary attack, now a dictionary attack is basically trying to guess your password, and all they do is use every single word in the dictionary. They're not using 3 random words from the dictionary, it's just 1 word, and then they may add in letters or numbers after it. So this makes it a lot more secure. But when was the last time that you changed any of your passwords? Think about your email account. When was that set up? Have you updated that since? Because we changed to 3 random words approximately 18 months ago. So maybe you've not thought about updating your passwords. And when we say talking about a cyber spring clean, yes, you don't have to update your passwords, but maybe it's time, if it's been an old password from a long time ago, maybe there's been a breach somewhere and your password is out on the internet somewhere. So sometimes it's just good to update things. People then think and say to me, well, I could have 20, 40, 100 passwords. That's fine. You can save them on your device. You can write them down. I write my passwords down, and I'll explain why I do that later. But I keep my passwords at home in a drawer, and I'll update them whenever I need to. So please think about your passwords, because that's what's protecting you online. My next top tip, and you have no idea how many people use it, but for some reason, we usually put our names or maybe our date of birth in our email accounts. And I've just created this one here just to show you, jimblack1980@hotmail.com. Well, I know that's going to be James Black. I've got a good idea that he was born in 1980 then. And that's almost like walking down the street with a big placard above your head saying, this is my name, this is when we were born. We wouldn't do that in real life, but for some reason we think that we should be doing that to introduce ourselves online. Make it random, whatever you want to. You're not falsifying your name or anything like that for criminal purposes. This is all about privacy. So think about that. If you're creating a new email account, does it have to be your name, or could it be something random? Could it be the house name where you were born or the street name you were born? Could it be something relatable that way, but doesn't contain your actual name? It's a very simple tip and it's very easy to change. So if you are changing your email, think about that. Our next one, all about emails again. And I'm pretty sure this is about the last one for emails. The amount of junk mail that we receive is horrendous now. That's one of the reasons that I changed. I don't accept the cookies now when I visit sites, because all they're doing is trying to get more information about you and selling information on. So if you're going onto a site and you usually see accept all cookies or accept necessary cookies, always click necessary cookies only, because all you're doing is giving them access to more information about yourself. The second thing about this is there's a service that the UK government has called SERS, Suspicious Email Reporting Service. If you're getting a scam email in to one of your email accounts, forward it on. I've left the address there on so that you can see it. That then gets analysed by our experts down in Cheltenham. And if it's found to be a suspicious email or a scam email, they have the capability to stop those emails coming in to the internet of the United Kingdom. There has been something like over 6 million of these scam emails reported, proved and stopped. And the more we are able to identify where the scams are coming from, the quicker we can get them taken down and stop people falling victim to them. CERS is a great service. It's a free service. All you're doing is forwarding that suspicious email onto that account. On some different mail server companies, it's an automatic button that you can click, others it's not, and you just forward on. So please, please, please think about it. And if you receive one of these emails into your main folder, mark it as junk, delete it, and refuse the sender from contacting you again. Just block them. That way you're protecting yourself more. And it's an easier way to actually manage the amount of information you're receiving. So please, please think about considering doing that. The next one, and this is quite an important one. How many times have we downloaded an app on our phone or on the computer, or be it a shopping site? Maybe I had Next app on my phone for a while because I was shopping a couple of things from there. I was getting my wife flowers and things, and I used that app. But what we don't realise is when we're applying and downloading that app, we're accepting the terms and conditions. And those terms and conditions mean that they're getting access to different information. You would be surprised at some of the information that some of these sites are looking to get. For example, Amazon, when you download Amazon, you're agreeing to their terms and conditions, which include they will go through your browser history, seeing all the sites you've looked up, what you've been trying to buy on other sites, and look at your other applications on your phone. Where else are you shopping? A lot of them do that. But once we are finished with these applications, what do we usually do? Just delete the account. But you're deleting the app, you're not actually closing the account. So please ensure that you are unsubscribing from whichever app or website that you've signed up to before you delete it. I do this on a regular basis. If I'm signing up for something, I'm taking a note of what I've signed up to and on what account, so that when it comes time for me to delete it, I'm not just deleting an app off my phone, I'm unsubscribing from that account. So I close the account and then delete it. You'll probably find that you've left yourselves with an awful lot of accounts open and you've never used them ever since. You've maybe used them once or twice, but they're still holding your information. Why do I think that's important? I purchased a car from Arnold Clark 11 years ago. Arnold Clark was hit with a cyber attack at the beginning of last year. My details from that purchase, they had kept them for all that time, and when there was a data breach, my details were put out there on the internet. I was part of that data breach because I had bought a car from Arnold Clark all those years ago. There's actually rules against some of these things, but again, think about how much information is out there about yourself. On the back of that, I did redo all of my passwords. I went through everything. I did double checks. I looked at, have I been pawned, to see if any information was still out there and what had came out about me. But just think about it. Don't just delete the app, unsubscribe, close the account and then delete. The next one, very simple. Enable two-step verification. Most of you will know two-step verification. You know, banks do it, etc. You know, you might get a code through your phone, and then you put that in through the computer and things like that. But what I would like to say is, have you actually checked the applications or the software that you've downloaded on your phone or your computer? Has that been upgraded, updated? Do they now offer two-step verification? If they do, did you enable it? Or did you just say, oh no, it works fine the way it is? Well, two-step verification actually protects you better. So if you can enable it on the app, enable it. It's great. But look at your older accounts first and see if they've been updated with that possibility. If they are, do it. Makes it so much safer for you. It's like double locking your front door. Older accounts are getting updated all the time. And if there's a facility for that, please do it. Enable it. The next one, this is quite a common one that we see nowadays. When you're outside, you have maybe going to Costa Coffee and they'll say they have free Wi-Fi in the shop and you can use your device and browse the internet, etc. And it's very simple. You just open up, look to see what Wi-Fi is available, and it'll probably be something like Costa free Wi-Fi. Log into that. It's very simple for me to use my phone, create a hotspot and change my phone's name. Actually, I did change my phone's name. For those who would like a little giggle, my phone is now called Spyware. And if I was to connect to free Wi-Fi, I'm sure that the person who may be a man-in-the-middle attacker, we call them, and they're trying to get as much information from your device as they can. If they looked at my device and seen spyware, I think they would get a wee shock. So what I always say, you're more secure and you're safer using your own 3G or 4G or 5G mobile network because of the security that's inbuilt there. You think about when you go on holiday, one of the first things that the hotel reception staff will give you is a password for the Wi-Fi. Make sure and confirm that you're going on the right one, because the person next door to you might have his computer with a free mobile network on it, a Wi-Fi, and it'll be called very, very something similar to that free Wi-Fi. I've actually found one down south when I was staying in a travel lodge, and it was Travel Lodge Free Wi-Fi 1, and that was actually a malicious one trying to intercept whatever device you were using. So if you were browsing the internet, that was catching that information. So it's always keen to think about it. Free Wi-Fi, am I sure I'm using the right Wi-Fi, or am I not just safer using my mobile network to do it? Your security, privacy and location settings. Now think about it. Now, a lot of people will have Find My iPhone, use maps and things like that. There's two ways of thinking. So I have an elderly relative who has early set dementia, and she agreed, oh gosh, about 4 years ago with the family that her phone would be paired with the rest of the family. So we would also always be able to find my iPhone to see where she was in case you went wondering. Great idea. Means she's always secure. I can look at my phone 24 hours a day and know where she is. Is it intrusive? Well, I'm only doing it to make sure she's safe. Yes, it may be intrusive, but if she goes wandering, then we can find her very quickly. So that's one of the reasons we do that. Location settings as well. So how many of us have fitness apps? And you maybe go a run and it measures how far you've ran and where you've ran, etc., how quickly you've done it. If your settings are not private, that data could be put onto the internet. And the clear one for that was I had a few years ago, and it was Strava. And it was actually a prison officer who cycled from his home to his work, and he used a fitness app. Unfortunately, it wasn't set to private, so I could identify where that prison officer lived. So think about these things. When you're signing up to an app, have a look at what the terms and conditions say. Does it need access to your photographs? If not, don't allow it. Are the location settings required to be done? If not, why not? Most phones now have location settings, so as soon as you're taking a picture on your phone, it knows exactly where you are, and that's embedded into the back of the phone of the picture. So it'll actually tell you where the picture was taken, what date, what time, and the exact location. Do we always want to see that? So actually think about these things. Who do you want to see the messages? If you are using social media for a corporate account for Neighbourhood Watch, yes, you want to get as many people getting the information out there so that they can become safe. But if it's personal information, you want to keep that within a select group, and that's where your security and your privacy settings come in. So always consider these things. Almost there. We're now at number 9. How many people here have actually gone into their Apple iCloud or their Google Cloud accounts and had a look what's on them? Do you know what it is? Let's think about this. My first Apple phone was a 5, the i5. Now that would be, oh gosh, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. That was when I got issued with an iCloud or an Apple ID. Now I've used Apple phones ever since, and I change my phone on a regular basis every sort of 2 years. I have never changed my iCloud account. So that account started when I got my first Apple phone, and that's when I created the password. Have I upgraded the password since then? Well, yes, I have. But have you? Have you looked at that account? Your phone is probably set to automatic saving or automatic backup, and it backs up that information to the cloud. And basically all that happens is when you get a new phone, it just draws all that information down. So that's all your photos, all of your files, all of your videos, all of your contacts are all on the cloud. Now the cloud, it's not actually a cloud, it's just another computer. Have a look at it. Go into your Apple ID, go into your cloud, get the password, update the password, please. If it's probably 15 years old, it's easy to be guessed. And secondly, have a look at the photographs in there. If there's things there that you want, pull them off, get copies of them and see where it is. It's the same with the Google Cloud. The trouble is, and we get this a lot, these are the first places that hackers go to get information about people. You think about it, if you got an Apple phone 10, 15 years ago, and that's when your account was created, and it's just been updated ever since. But how many times have you been in to look at it? If you've got an Android device, then it'll be Google Cloud. Please have a look at them, see what's there. If there's compromising things there, delete them, but upgrade the password on them so that it's something new, something individual, and something that people won't know. But please have a look at these accounts. And my last top tip, and this is all about updates, automatic updates. Now everyone gets them on their phone. There is a vulnerability, please upgrade your phone. But it's not just phones that need updated. Smart devices need them. Tablets need them. Phones, computers, televisions. Have you got a smart TV? Does that automatically update or does it not? Your smart devices, do they upgrade themselves? Do they update themselves? If they don't, there may be a vulnerability there that they might be hackable. If you use one of the jailbroken Fire Sticks to view content on some of these devices, there might be malicious software held on that, and it's infecting devices. So please, 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 always update, but think about what needs updated. Does it connect to the internet? Does it go through your home router? If it does, is it vulnerable and does it connect across other devices? So there's lots of information there. But what I'm trying to say here is that, yes, I'm giving you a lot of information, but these are simple things for you to check. And like I say, cyber spring clean, do it once a year. Maybe make it a New Year's resolution, or I'm going to check. I'm going to delete all these old applications that I don't use. Maybe it's a case of, oh, I'm going to actually have a look at my passwords. I'll start updating them and I'll go through them all. Will I change my email accounts and create more email accounts and then start separating things that I'm doing? Well, it's a good idea. Pick a time, start thinking about it. Can I just say, if you've had the same email account for 15 years, think about looking at Have I Been Pwned, which is a great site, which Kasia hopefully will have put in the chat. And finally, I don't like to give far too much information. If you're looking for simple tips about staying safe online, Cyber Aware at the ncsc.gov.uk is the best place to go. That will give you simple information to stay safe online. So that's me. I've given you an awful lot.
Questions now.
Yeah, I've given you a lot of information there. Now's the time for questions, and I've left a little feedback there. If anyone has any feedback from the consultation or the presentation today, we can just use that. But I'll stop sharing my screen so that I can actually start seeing people again.
Thank you very much to both of you, not only for the delivery of the presentation, but for the quick typing in the chat bar. I see that's great, and I'm sure there'll be some more questions. If anybody has a question, could you please put your hand up and I'll invite you in and to ask your question. Thank you.
Sorry, well, I don't think we have a hand function, Leslie.
Oh, do we not? Right.
Not the way the webinar runs, people can see us, but we can't see or hear them. Sorry.
Okay, lucky then.
Leslie, there's 3 questions still in a chat that even though my typing is very fast, I didn't manage to answer. I'm just quickly trying to go through them. Right, there's a question about copying data from one cloud to another. So, for example, from OneDrive to another cloud, example, Google Drive. And I think the answer is yes, Andy, isn't it?
Yeah, you can. You can. It's simple data, and it's data transfer, so it's very easy to transfer between one cloud account to another one. You could just basically copy and paste it across, so it's a very simple, and there's many ways that you can do it depending on the file size.
Yep, and another question, there was a question on VPN, and that's, yeah, Jane, you've been asking about VPN and whether it's beneficial to use it on a public network. And yes, there are many benefits of using VPN. What we can't probably advise or recommend is which one to use, obviously, because we are representatives of Police Scotland. But Andy, you probably will have more information on that, but it just creates a secure connection, doesn't it, from to another network over the internet. That's probably the biggest benefit of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it encrypts the data into packets, and it delivers the encrypted data. A lot of the time it would be very, very difficult to decrypt encrypted data. You can sometimes do it, depending on what kind of encryption is being used by the VPN. I would always say that the best VPNs are paid for ones, and do your research when you're going to purchase a VPN. There are many, many good ones out there. I don't want to say, from my personal experience, I use BuildGuard. That was the one I liked. I thought it gave the security that I wanted for whenever I was using my device. But there's many, many out there. The free ones are not as good as a paid for service. I think that's the easiest way, but absolutely having a VPN is better than not having one at all.
And then another question I didn't manage to answer is, how would you recognize if your smart TV or smart washing machine has been hacked? There could be many signs.
Can I say that I've got a quick funny story. There was a smart kettle brought out around 3 years ago, and this kettle you could control from your phone through an app, and you could switch it on and off from your phone. Unfortunately, the app wasn't updated, and there was a vulnerability, and there was someone who was actually identifying who had these kettles, going into the Wi-Fi and switching their kettles on and off randomly. So it's very difficult to do it. Always look at the manufacturer. In the instructions for the manufacturer will tell you if they do get updated or if they don't. It also depends on, is it a closed network or is it an open? Does it connect to the internet? If it connects to the internet and you can use a device to update it, there's always a small vulnerability there. So please look at the instructions on the devices to find out if they can be hacked. The biggest one that we remember was Samsung televisions were able to listen to what was going on in people's houses, and that was several years ago.
And one more, I'm just trying to see. If I send a VPN encrypted message, how is it decrypted at the receiving end?
Right. I'm going to explain that later on, and I'll add that in the chat because it can be quite complicated. It's all to do with the packets, identifying an inner packet and an outer packet, but I'll explain that in more detail later. But it can be encrypted depending on the type of encryption they're used, asymmetric, etc. And it depends what kind of encryption that's being used. If it's a very old one, does it use public-private keys, etc., etc.? There's different ways to look at it.
There's a question here which probably would be best answered by yourself, Leslie, or Vary. Someone is asking about is it training? Oh, I've lost it now. Oh, does Neighbourhood Watch have any training programs?
In particular for cyber, no, because we're not the subject matter experts. What we do is facilitate the likes of yourself with cyber bulletins or hold seminars like that, but nothing specific from Neighbourhood Watch.
What I'll do is I'll put a web link to NCSC website that's got a huge amount of different videos and clips and things that can be accessed, as well as Andy, probably the Dot magazine, developed by Cyber Scotland Partnership, is really good as well. So I'll quickly do that in a chat as well.
Is there any other questions that are unaccounted for or require clarity? This is your last chance to stick them in the chat bar and speak to the experts. I think we're good. Well, can I just say thank you very much. A spring clean I shall be doing personally and professionally. And the tips that you gave, Andy, were incredibly terrifying in some respects, but that's maybe good because I think it does make you think about your own personal circumstances and the vulnerabilities. Thank you for all the work you both continue to do and your commitment to providing your time for these seminars and opportunities for our Neighbourhood Watch extended family. And may I take this opportunity to thank you on behalf of them, but also us. If there are no further questions, can I thank all the people who joined us tonight? And hopefully you've taken something from it. And I wish you all the best in terms of your cyber security journey. Take care, stay safe, and same time next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.